Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on News Center Maine Plus and online. I'm meteorologist Ryan Breton with the details on two storms, one that comes through on Thursday and a bigger one that comes in over the weekend. The Thursday system, as of Wednesday evening, moving through the southeast, the Ohio Valley, and starting to move into the northeast. Actually, some severe weather on the southern end of this storm. Tornado watches and warnings up for parts of the deep south. The weekend storm, though, is still out over the Pacific Ocean, going to bring a lot of rain and mountain snow to California. But given it's still so far away, there is still some uncertainty in the finer details. Once this comes on land during the day Thursday and we get our first storm by us, we should have a much better idea of how the weekend storm is going to play out. So let's bring you through storm number one first. This is midnight Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. And at that point, we have some areas of light snow developing in New Hampshire, a few flurries on the coastline. The snow is fairly slow to move into the state. At 3 in the morning, still going to be dry in a lot of central and eastern Maine while it's snowing in western Maine and New Hampshire. At 6 a.m., we're likely still dry over far down east and perhaps in Bangor, while much of the rest of the state is cold and dealing with snow. Given it is going to be cold, the snow will accumulate from the beginning. So a snowy morning commute in most places, and in eastern Maine where it's not snowing at 6 in the morning, that snow will develop around 7 or 8 a.m. with perhaps far down east being the last to see the snow develop at about 9 o'clock. For the rest of us, it is snowing through about 9 o'clock in the morning, and it is going to be quite cold, especially inland, so tricky travel for the morning commute. However, there is going to be a mix line that begins to come into play in southern New Hampshire before 9 a.m., and then that will likely work into southern Maine and onto parts of the mid-coast by the late morning hours. And this will likely be in the form of sleet or maybe even a bit of freezing rain. Computer models here try to suggest the immediate coastline will warm to around or just over freezing. A lot of times in these circumstances, though, the cold air is tough to budge. So even if we do warm up on the immediate coastline, it's likely going to stay cold inland. So through the middle of the day, tricky travel here with snow falling and then a light icy glaze accumulating on top of that snow in parts of southern Maine. Sleet, which are ice pellets, kind of weigh down the snow, and if there's some freezing drizzle, that's how you'd get the glaze on top. As we go through the afternoon, this will begin moving out. So by 3 o'clock, it's over in southwestern Maine, still snowing in central northern Maine, getting that mix at that point over down east. And by 6 o'clock in the evening, we're drying out just about everywhere, except snow will continue in the far north. So it will stay all snow up over the county, 6 to 12 inches of snow up there, probably going to be a lot of double-digit totals. Once you get south of about Katahdin through most of the state, it's 3 to 6 inches of snow. You'll be on the lower end 3 if the sleet arrives sooner. If it holds off a bit, you could get 5 or 6. And where we do think that mix develops by mid-morning, we're looking at 1 to 3 inches of snow over southern York County and southern New Hampshire. So that's storm number one. It gets out of here Thursday night. Friday on the backside of it will be a bright but blustery day with northwest winds gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour on Friday. The next storm approaches over the weekend. And snow will be close. If you look at your radar on Saturday, it'll be snowing over perhaps western New England by lunchtime and into much of New York State during the day. But it looks like in most of Maine and New Hampshire, snow will develop Saturday night. And this will be snow to start. But again, we'll probably have a situation where we see a changeover to sleet and freezing rain. And also worth noting, this is going to be a stronger storm with more moisture that moves a bit more slowly. So a bigger impact all around from this weekend storm. This is 6 o'clock Saturday morning. You can see it's snowing in most of central and southern Maine at that point, but the mixing line probably not too far away. And during the day on Sunday, again, we will likely have warm air moving in aloft up in the clouds while it stays cold near the ground, which means you'll have snowflakes that can melt and then refreeze before they hit the ground. That would be sleet, ice pellets, kind of a pain to shovel, but that would be ideal. If we end up getting freezing rain, which is rain that makes it all the way to the ground and then freezes on contact with the ground, we'd at least have to entertain the idea of some tree limbs coming down and some power lines coming down too. The difference between sleet and freezing rain, when you're forecasting this far out, isn't much. So we think we'll have a better idea of which we'll see more of by Thursday night. But it looks like midday Sunday, a lot of us seeing that changeover, and it continues into the late afternoon and early evening before the storm pulls away Sunday night. So I want to show you a couple of computer models. This is the European computer model, and it's got plenty of moisture, that's for sure. The idea here is that where you stay all snow, this purple zone, especially up in the mountains, we could have some double-digit totals. Farther south, it's snow that then goes over to sleet or freezing rain, which you'll see here, the projection from the European model, perhaps a quarter, close to a half an inch of ice on top of that snow. And if that's the case, we've at least got to start thinking about the possibility of some outages from freezing rain. However, if we end up seeing more sleet or more snow, as the GFS computer model suggests, any freezing rain would probably be limited to closer to the coastline. So what you need to know about the weekend is Saturday night snow begins. Sunday, it's going to be a mess with snow that changes over to an icy mix. The biggest question is it more sleet or is it more freezing rain? Either way, it'll be tough getting around on Sunday. And as you can see here, the potential is high where you stay all snow. This particular output showing the possibility for a foot or more of snow. We will have a specific snowfall map for you on this storm coming up by Thursday afternoon, so you can get ready to plan for what you need to prepare for over the weekend. So look at the 7-day forecast. Shows that on our Thursday we have snow that changes over to a mix. The morning commute will be challenging, but it should be much better by the evening commute. Sunny and windy on Friday, clouds moving in on Saturday with snow developing Saturday night. And then Sunday looks like a mess. Snow, sleet, freezing rain, maybe even a little bit of rain on the table here. So if you do have plans on Sunday, it's already worth considering a plan B at this point. Even though there's still some uncertainty in how much and what type of precipitation we get, Sunday looks like a pretty messy day regardless of what the exact details end up being. And it's worth noting that behind that storm, it's going to be cold early to mid next week. Tuesday especially looks quite cold. So if we do run into a situation where there are some power outages, maybe a cold couple of days following that storm. That's the latest for now. We will have updates on both storms on News Center Maine Plus, on air, online, on the stream too, and we'll see you back here later Thursday with much more on the weekend storm.